Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? I'm sitting in the parking lot of Meijer. I was gonna read some comments and respond to them, but that light is like so bright in the background. Let me find a different place to park. See if there's anywhere to where the light is not like right in the... Is that better? That's better. That is much better. Get some. This has been a good day today. Do you ever just have those days where you have like good days? I haven't really filmed a bunch of videos, you guys, in like the last 2 days. Yesterday, because we went to the pumpkin patch last night and brunch and stuff, I just didn't have time to film the videos that I wanted to. And then today, I got a late start leaving the house, and then I went and got my coffee. I still have some coffee left right here. I'll put it over here so I can drink it. I also have water right here as well. My Starbucks cup from Christmas last year. I can't believe it's almost Christmas again. And then I had to go and buy PP's food, so I had to go to the vet, which was like 20 minutes north, and I had a bunch of other errands to run, so I just got behind doing stuff. And then I have this sobriety commitment thing early this evening at 5, and so I had to leave the house by like 4:30 to get there and do that. And I started filming a Peterisms video, and then I was like, when I come home, I'm gonna film a video for my Peter Monn channel. And then the Peterisms video, like, I just didn't get it done, and so I was like, I'll just finish it when I get home, and it just because I was running late. And then I got home at like 7:15, and Alex was home, and he was like, had music playing, and he was picking outfits out for next weekend. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just not gonna film videos today because it's late and they'll get up late, so I'll just get them done tomorrow, the ones that I wanted to get done. So I did, oh, I know. The other thing is I did a review video today. I did a review of comparing Speedway Pumpkin Spice Latte to Starbucks. So, yeah. It was just really kind of like a lame day. I didn't really have a whole lot going on all day today. It was actually kind of nice. Then Alex and I hung out a lot this evening and just talked about our trip and stuff like that. And then, yeah, that was it. Hi, Karen, waving. Karen comments on all of my videos. This is actually on my review video, but she does it on the vlog too. She says, hi, waving. So let me go into my comments on my vlog, and let's see what people are saying. Hold on a second, let me go into the comments. The way the comments like show up on my videos is like if you go into the creator app, it actually shows it from like the very last comment on any video. So like if the last comment that I received like time-wise was from a video that I posted 2 years ago, it would still be the first comment that I saw. Does that make sense? So it's not like the first comment that I see on the video. So for example, the last comment that I received was from Kayla Ray. Hey, Kayla. And that's one of Alex's really good friends. Her name is Kayla. And it was from 4 minutes ago because it is 2:47 a.m. and she did 4 blue hearts. Okay. Sydney said, I love watching your vlogs with my dog when we relax. Glad Alex is feeling better. Oh, thank you so much. I don't have my, I have my readers in here. Hold on a second for the ones I can't. I have my one-sided readers that are so dirty. Look at those. Oh, Lord. Okay, I want to make sure I get these names right. It's Mila said, the Red Robin near me closed, and I'm still not over it. She said, Tio Peter, quiero funnel cake, por favor. I want funnel cake, please. Por favor? Is that por favor is please? I'm such an idiot. Por favor means please, doesn't it? I'm almost positive. Por favor. Please. I knew that's what it was. Okay. And then Gwen left 2 purple hearts. And then, oh my God, this is from December. Somebody left a comment from December 31st, January 1st, my very first vlog I ever did. and said, just watch this in 2019. It made everything you do into perspective, and I love it. I'm proud of you. XXX. That was sweet. T. Andrew said, I love all the animals so much. Oh my God, love, 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 and it's beautiful here. Elizabeth said, love the vlog. This is from a short one. Beck Star said, the only kind of tuna I will eat is tuna salad or tuna casserole. Yet I'll eat sushi though, figure. Almond butter, have you tried it? Bangin'. I love almond butter. It's expensive though. Okay. Julie said, Peter, new Starbucks Halloween themed tumbler comes out tomorrow at Target, Starbucks. In case you are interested, you know that I will be there tomorrow. I didn't know that. Okay, she also said, I know that it's not the Caribbean, but I really mean this when I say that my landlady owns an Airbnb in Daytona Beach. Just message me and let me know. The song just changed. It's a Cascade song. Okay, thank you. I've actually never been to Daytona Beach. Okay, somebody said, Bellevue Girl said, hi Peter, if you're looking for info on new book releases, you can go to Amazon and search under books coming soon. Just type in new book releases on Google and all of this will come up. Also, I get email from Goodreads and Half Price Books with new releases all the time. I follow you on Goodreads. Here's a link. Oh, thank you. Sherry or Cherie, I think it's Sherry, said that was an extra fun video. Which one was this? Oh, that was my one at the pumpkin patch. Thank you. Maricela, who she comments on my vlogs all the time, I know because her picture is Audrey Hepburn from Breakfast at Tiffany's. She said, or is it Maricela, said, Peter, if you're not a fan of chocolate fudge, you might like Panouche. I call it brown sugar fudge. My mom loved hazelnut and chocolate hazelnut coffee. She would grind whole beans for the fresher taste. I love grinding fresh beans in my coffee, for my coffee. Thanks for sharing your family adventures. Peggy said, the barometric pressure when it's getting ready to rain. My husband gets migraines really bad and has to take medicine. He is starting Botox injections. His is so bad, supposedly, to really help. I have heard the Botox really helps with migraines as well. I've actually been suggested that. Skip Roma, I feel like your name used to be something different on here. I know like the pictures, but I don't necessarily always know the names. Said AirPods, Thunder Jacket, Carbon Footprint, you're killing me. Smalls, you're killing me. Offbeat Vegan Beauty and Life said, it's, oh, I was talking about the lights in the windows. I kept on, it was like the lightning. Said, it's the census lady in your driveway flashing her bright lights, LOL. Somebody responded and said, this cracked me up. Somebody else said, LOL. You guys are so nice to each other in the comment sections. I love that you guys have like conversations, and if somebody comes on there and says like, I'm having a really hard day, somebody else will say, oh, I hope your day gets better, and blah, 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 whatever. And then I also love that, you know, when somebody's going through something, you guys are, you know, or if somebody has a birthday, you'll say happy birthday. You guys are awesome to each other. Sean! Oh my God, Sean. Hey, Sean, how are you? She said, I enjoyed the vlog with your family, Peter. You all seem to be enjoying yourselves at the farm. We had such a great time. It was so much fun. Ray said, Peter Vlogs ASMR Rain Edition. Melissa said, oh, you have a pretty profile picture too. Oh, Peter, I feel so bad for Alex. I hope he feels better. You're a good husband. By the way, I have horrible lower back pain, and those icy hot patches actually work. Yeah, he said it did help, so thank you. And he's feeling much better. Barbara said, Baran said, thank you, Peter, for sharing. Ragweed, very high rain pushes the pollen down. I've heard that. So many people are saying AirPods because I couldn't remember what it was. I digress, said AirPods. Janice said, I hope everyone has a fantastic week. And Linda said, you too, sweetie. Oh, Linda, she comments on here all the time, Linda. Hey, Linda. Lake said, also 15. Oh, because I said that, like, somebody commented one time, it was like I'm 15 years old and I watch your vlogs while I'm getting ready for school. And so Lake said, also 15, I'm a sophomore in high school and I watch your vlogs while I'm waiting for the bus in the morning. Glad to hear I'm not the only youngster around here. Haha. Okay. Laura said, wow, what an absolutely gorgeous farm. I have not read comments on here on a video for a while, so I know some of you are like, why is he reading comments? But I try to do this every once in a while because then I can just kind of respond to you guys live, and not live, but you know, you get to see it. Laura said, wow, what an absolutely gorgeous farm. I don't get to see too many like that over in New Jersey. I mean, we have several farms, but probably less than half the size of that one. It's totally gorgeous. My daughter would have such a good time there. Maybe that's why you brought up Christmas earlier in your review, because you saw so many Christmas trees, LOL. Definitely San Diego footage. I've always wanted to go there. I can live through you a little bit. Oh, thank you, Laura. Charity said, Charity? Oh, no, it's not. What was Cher's, that's Chaz Bono now. What was her born name, or his born name was Chastity. Did you guys ever see that with, do you guys love Chaz Bono? I love Chaz Bono. I love Cher too. But did you ever see, oh shoot. Sandra Bernhardt. I always call her Sandra Bernhardt. But in her live show, Without You, I'm Nothing, she said, Chastity, get in here. I always think of that. Oh, my phone went out. Okay, hold on a second. Charity said, I'm glad Alex is better. I hope I can meet you one day. I'm not far from Indy, so it could happen. LOL, you've inspired me in many ways. Oh, thank you, Charity. Susie Smile said, one thing that has worked for my migraines is Sept. I've never heard of it. Non-narcotic, but is prescribed by doctor. I carry it in my purse just in case because migraines are unbearable. Good luck with yours, Peter. Love you so much. Oh, thank you. And then somebody responded and said, careful, honey. Sept has butabibatol in it, which is our narcotic. I've never heard of Sept. Ellie said, monsters, wolf pack. Ella said, 5 blue hearts. Elise said, I had Taco Bell today. I agree, it's hard to stick to a program. I hate always worrying about my weight. I'm at the gym so much, people know me by name. My eating habits are good and really bad. I can totally relate to what you're going through. P.S. I just want to fit into my clothes. Me too. I'm like in my head, I'm thinking to myself, I feel like, you know, I feel like I've been struggling, and I know that I have a food addiction, and I know, you know, like I emotionally eat and all that kind of stuff. And I'm very aware of it. I've done a lot of inventory and a lot of work on it. I feel like I've struggled with this, like, my entire life. Like, I just don't ever remember a time, it seems like, that I didn't struggle with it, you know? I'm really heavy right now. I'm really struggling with it, getting ready to go on vacation. This comment made me so sad. I read this earlier. This is from M. And she said, over this past weekend in my hometown, a group of people had a fentanyl party. So fentanyl is an opioid, and it usually comes in a patch, but they sometimes like take them apart and eat them, or they'll like smoke them. They designated one person to revive them all with, she said a name, but I think she meant you can revive people with these shots so that they could die and be revived again. However, the person ended up using as well, and most of them died or are in critical condition. Addiction can rob you of so much. Thanks for always sharing, Peter. It's so sad to me. Patricia said, oh no, poor Alex. Hope he gets some relief soon. He's feeling like 100% better. Heba said, I work Sunday, so they are not relaxing for me. You know what's funny about that comment? I mean, not funny for you that you have to work on Sunday, but I used to work Tuesday through Saturday. I worked it for years. I actually didn't mind it because then I would get off and I had Sunday, Monday. But, like on Fridays when I worked, people would always be like, it's the weekend, it's the week. I'm like, yeah, I work tomorrow. It's not the weekend for me. Kay left 4 blue hearts. Lucy said, hi, Peter. Try this website for renting an apartment or a hotel. Oh, hey, Lucy. House instead of a hotel, though sometimes hotels are also on the site too. Homeaway.com. Also, you can make payments towards your trip and not have to pay all at once. Oh, interesting. I wouldn't go to an all-inclusive. There are too many Americans dying at these all-inclusive spots. I don't like... like, Tanya always says that to me too. Like, you guys go and stay at these places and like Americans are getting killed, but like I don't see the news footage of it. I'm not seeing the articles. So if you guys know specific cases, could you let me know where they're at? I heard it's in the Dominican Republic and in Mexico. The one all-inclusive that I found that I was telling Alex about, it's not like an all-inclusive place. It's like a hotel that has like an all-inclusive package, if that makes sense. So you like pre-buy all your meals and stuff, but you just eat there. Hey girl, Stephanie, bless you, hopelessly devoted to you. Miss you. Janet said, I'm on vacation in England and I'm taking you with me, Peter. I haven't seen all the vlogs, but are you thinking of a trip to Toronto? If you come to my area, please do a meet and greet. I haven't actually thought about coming to Toronto. That's not like anywhere on my, like on our, like that's not a place that we've thought about. I cannot pronounce this name because it's all just letters. I apologize, but they said, LOL, I live in Sarasota. Claire said, we go to Destin every year, most beautiful beaches. Tanya had a fantastic trip. Courtney said, Secret Savine Resort in Cancun is amazing. All-inclusive, all meals, drinks, tips, and taxes included. There are also tons of activities included. I booked a flight hotel through Expedia and only spent around $2,000 for flight and all-inclusive hotel for 2 of us. We flew out of O'Hare, though, because I'm from Northwest Indiana. The region. Definitely recommend it. They even knew our names by the time we left the hotel. I've never heard of Secrets, but we stayed at Secrets Cap Cana in Dominican Republic. They were so nice. The only thing is we had to figure out how to shuttle to and from the airport. The resort charges you, so we ended up buying a private shuttle on Expedia, and it was perfect. That's what we usually do, is we get like a private shuttle, so we don't have to worry about that. Let me go through here and get some from like older vlogs. Peter, what about Turks and Caicos or St. Bart's? This is from Tammy. Also, my family and I used to go to Gulf Shores, Alabama every spring, and I'm telling you, Orange Beach there is huge beaches with lots of room and total white sand. There's condos, tons right on the beach. They are $1,000 for a week. When did she say they went? In the spring. The surrounding area has so many amazing restaurants right on the ocean, very affordable restaurants. There's a place... Okay, this is like a really long comment. The times I flew there, I would fly into Pensacola, Florida. Tanya loves Pensacola. My parents' entire town of Bath, Michigan goes at the same time every year, and they love it so much. Wait. Oh, she's still talking about Gulf Shores. I've heard it's beautiful. Turks and Caicos, St. Bart's, I would love to go. They're 2 of the most expensive places in the Caribbean to go. I have looked at Turks and Caicos so many times because my dad and my stepmom go there a lot. They love it. They've gone there for years and years and years. Unfortunately, I cannot afford it. It is like really expensive to go to Turks and Caicos at really any time of the year. But it looks absolutely amazing. I would also love to go to Anguilla, but it looks extremely expensive too. Christy said do a cruise. It's the best way to see the Caribbean. St. Thomas is breathtaking. Okay, so like we're not like cruises don't sound real enticing to Alex and I, but we have friends of ours that absolutely love cruises. I don't know why. It kind of like, there's something about it that makes me a little scared. I don't know why. I know that's stupid. I know. Lori said it takes more energy to be mean than to be nice. Absolutely, I agree. Anne said, hoping that Alex's back problems are better today, and if not, the chiropractor can help him. Back problems are no joke. It's tough to function when you can't move. His back is much better. And I have to tell you, I don't know what it is about your profile picture, but you look like a friend of mine, a sober friend of mine. And every time I see your profile picture, I always I'm like, oh, that reminds me of my friend. I always think of her like as soon as I see your profile picture. I would love to see a Myers favorites video. You talk about it all the time. Here I am in the parking lot of Myers while I'm reading this from Brooke. I'm not sure if it's like a Mrs. Myers store or if it's a convenience store. Okay, I'm like half tempted just to go inside and like show it. Myers like a Target or a Walmart. It's huge. Can you guys see? Here, I'll show you. I don't know if you can see, but it goes all the way down there. See, it's like just, there it is. You can see the sign. It has like a grocery inside of it. It's like a super Walmart. Kara said she hopes, oh, poor Alex, hope he feels better. Lori said, I hope Alex feels better. Ah, hold on a second. Sheena said, I hope Alex feels better. Oh, she loves Nutter Butters too. But she loves anything with peanut butter. Girl, we're right there together. Linda said, so you can cook. I'm afraid you burned the pan due to high heat. Edit, tell it. Peter, woohoo. So Linda, I appreciate you thinking that. I burned the pan because I'm an idiot, is why, okay? I think I left the chili on the stove for like a half an hour, okay? I'm a total idiot. Okay. Oh, yeah. And okay, Adriana said, oh yeah, and the girl that made the video, made the Peter ASMR video is Gwen Levy. Gwen, L-I-V-I. Just in case y'all didn't check it out last night, she was very sweet to make that video for me. Okay. A lot of people are recommending a cruise. Maria said, hope your husband feels better. Oh, thank you. Crystal said, when you wake up at 2 a.m. to pee, and you have to check and see if Peter Monn has uploaded his vlog. There's 2 comments, hold on. That's so funny, I woke up to pee at 4 a.m. and checked. I couldn't make it, I fell asleep waiting. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. D-Dub said, you are valuable. Oh, thank you. Nimi said, hey Peter, Knorr is a German brand, and guess what? You're absolutely right in the way you pronounce it. The K is not silent. Knorr. Greetings from Germany, Julia. We love your channels over here. Oh, thank you. Oh my God, it's so weird just to think that somebody in Germany is watching my video. I feel so honored. Oh my God. Okay. Oh, Kathy said she loves seeing the fur babies. Key West. I've actually wanted to go to Key West for quite some time. Here's the thing about Key West, is there's not really a lot of beaches, and from what I've heard, and I know that it's like party drinking central, so I don't know how much I would love it. I know it's like little bar after little bar, but there are really cute houses that you can rent with like private pools and stuff, so I think that would be kind of fun. Dylan said, when I got the notification, I was so sad thinking it was going to be a short vlog, but once I looked, it's not. You guys, I'm starting to repeat vlog titles, so like, hey, let's talk, or like some things to talk about. I don't really know what to title these things anymore. I'm starting just to think about titling them just one, because I don't really know, but sorry to trick you, Dylan. Raz Whirl said, Peter, you should start a cooking channel. I think you would be hilarious. Peter's Rookie Cooking. Oh, that's actually not a bad idea. If I even enjoyed cooking. I'm sure you can follow a recipe. I said perfect. Yes, considering how much he hates it, it would be hysterical. Right there. Oh, it's gonna stop, hold on. Okay. That would be fun, but can Peter manage another channel? Sure, he's super Peter. Stephanie said, I started using your idea of canned easy cheese for giving my pugs allergy medicine at night. Much easier than a piece of cheese. And then somebody said, oh no, a pug with allergies. They have a hard enough time breathing anyway. I love my dog, my dad's pug there. Oh my God, our friend has a pug, and it's literally like the whole time that we're there, it's like, poor thing. But it does make it so much easier, does it? PB just licks up the cheese and then the pill's in it. And then I just check his mouth afterwards. Dina said, what about Puerto Rico? I've been and it's amazing. We've heard Puerto Rico is amazing. Could you let me know like where in Puerto Rico would be like on the beach and would be a great place to stay? Because I don't know where in Puerto Rico to go. Kathy said, a few days back, I had to resubscribe to your channel and my daughter's channel also, who does crafting tutorials. Thought it was kind of odd. I will notify them now. Yeah, will you guys check and make sure that you're subscribed still to the channels of mine that you watch? I would really appreciate it. I'm just like, I actually got this really weird email. Did I talk about this? I got this really weird email from YouTube. It was actually more specific than they've commented in the past. And it was about like people that have subscribed to more than 1,000 channels, and they're like, that's what's going on with your channel. And I'm like, my Peter Monn channel, I'm like, I mean, I'm not gonna fight it, but it's like, I've lost, you know, I don't know, people, I'm literally getting messages from people every day that are like, I was unsubscribed to your channel, I never unsubscribed to it, I don't know what's going on, I'm not getting the notifications, and on and on and on. So, I don't know what it's about. It is what it is. MJ said, I would have called an ambulance with him on the floor like that. I hope he feels better. I asked him if he wanted to, and he said no, he didn't want to go to the emergency room. Sydney said, Negril, Jamaica. My sister had her honeymoon anniversary there and loved it. Okay, so I've heard from a lot of different people that Jamaica does not love gay people, and that it could be possibly dangerous. Not dangerous like bad, but that like they just like don't love gay people there. That's kind of what I've heard. I always read like travel articles about like where it's safe to go in the country, or where it's safe to go in the world as far as like being gay or being a gay couple, and Jamaica is one of those places they've said is kind of a little like you got to be careful. Melissa said, I just wanted you to let you know that since becoming slightly pregnant, you're the only one that I can listen to. This baby no longer lets me listen to my favorite true crime podcast. Let me just tell you about your baby, okay? It's gonna come out. Well, congratulations, by the way, on your pregnancy, but it's gonna come out and be like, beast! Okay, Jordan said, okay, I have to say something. So Jordan is commenting on my vlog, and I just want to say this. So I was reading through Twitter. Twitter is like real weird. I don't know what's happening, but like, so I get my mentions, right? Like when you go into your Twitter, you can see your mentions. But then sometimes I have to search my name because people will tag me, but like it doesn't show up in my mentions. I don't really know why, if it's selective or it's because like I get so many mentions, which I don't feel like I really do get that many mentions. But I'll go in there and I'll be like, I never saw any of these tweets that were directed towards me. But Jordan, I saw, and the only reason I know this is because it's the same profile picture. Jordan, your profile picture is the same. And Jordan left a message saying I had never responded to any of the comments that Jordan had left. And I felt really, really bad about it. And there was like somebody else said something about it in there. And I just, you know, I'm trying to, like, this week, 2 days, I went in and I, like, responded to comments for, like, the first half hour on my videos. I know it's something that people want. I'm really trying to do better at it. So I just want you to know that. And actually, Jordan, I want you to know I appreciate you bringing that to my attention and continuing to comment. That means a lot to me. And thank you for Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you. Jordan also said, LOL, a short one. Tiandra said, thanks for being here for me. How do you guys have such, like, perfect, beautiful profile pictures? Travis said, love you, Peter, and your family. Thank you, Travis. Privacy said, I was so scared it really was a short one. I love when I say that and then people go in and they like, they go look and see how long the vlog is gonna be. I'm gonna call this one a really short one. It probably will be tonight though. Let's go back and see some more. Jenny said, Boo Radley is just the cutest thing. All your dogs are cuties. Aww. I'm trying to like pick out some from people that I haven't mentioned already. Alex said, LOL, you got me wanting to go to the gas station and get fountain pops. Enter name here said, can you do a video where we send in questions and you answer, please? Sure, I will tell you this. If you guys want to put any questions in the comment section below, I will wait 2 days. That will actually be good for Wednesday's vlog. And then for Wednesday that I'll post on Thursday. And then if you, so this will be up on, what, on Tuesday? So you'll have all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday to leave comments underneath this video. You can put any questions you want to put, and I'll go in and I'll answer longer questions. How you guys like that? I did a Instagram Q&A thing, and I copied all the, I screenshot all the questions, and I'm going to go in and, do a Q&A for sometime this week. So if you guys have questions that you would like me to respond to, leave it in the comment section below, and I'll go through and I'll answer them, okay? Madison said, you need to read Everything I Never Told You. I know, I need to read that book. So many people have told me that. Christine said, this is an interesting comment. She said, reading is supposed to be enjoyable. Do you think you have set too high expectations for yourself where your reading is concerned? I go through periods that I don't want to read, and during that time I just don't read. And I know you feel you have to because that's like your job, but just read the true crime stuff and maybe find some books that have like short story complications to review for people that don't read a lot. It's a good comment. I think like, so I don't feel like it's my job. I definitely don't feel like that. I feel like there are so many books out there that I want to read that when I'm not setting time aside to do that, I get frustrated with myself because it's something I'm really passionate about. I don't know if that makes sense. But the other thing is that when you're like, I think when you're on BookTube or you're a bookstagrammer, it changes your perspective kind of. Like like you're definitely more aware of like how much people are reading, you know? And you see people reading this or reviewing that or whatever. What's interesting to me is, in the last year I've really noticed this with a lot of like bigger booktubers, they really don't read that much. I mean, they really don't. Like some of the booktubers that have 200,000, like 100 to 250,000 subscribers, they literally read like 20 to 30 books a year. And, which kind of surprises me, in all honesty. I mean, you think they were the ones that were going to read, like, all of the books, you know? And then there are other people that are reading, like, 300 books a year. So I just get frustrated with myself because there are so many books that I want to read. And when I'm, like, getting ready to read a book, I'm like, oh, but I want to read this. Oh, but I want to read that. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not, I wouldn't even say it's so much like a number for me, but it is too, because it does kind of remind me of a little bit when I was a kid and I would do like the library challenges and stuff like that. You know, it's like I set a goal for myself with like the reading. I think it's like anything else that you do, like, you know, whether you're like running for fun or whatever. I think we all set some kind of like goals or expectations for ourselves. I don't know. I'm not too hard on myself about it. Okay, my battery died while I was, ooh, it's hot, while I was reading questions, and then I had to dig through my fanny pack, which is a total mess right now. Okay, let's get back to this. Let me I'm just gonna answer a few more. Let me go down here to, this is way past, let me, what's today's date? Oh, it went all the way back up. I was like, reading this comment, and I was like, that was the fentanyl party comment. I was like, I already read that. Okay. Let me go down here. Let me spin through the comments. Get to some. Somebody said, Peter, I know exactly what you mean about events centered around drinking. I'm 25 years old and I barely go out. I don't drink because I never had a good experience with alcohol, and I used to go and be the sober one, but watching people that drunk when you're not is very depressing and not fun. I still prefer nature, taking trips, spa days, etc. It's sad because I stopped hanging out with a lot of people because they love to go to bars, and that's just not me. It is what it is, I guess. Okay, I want to respond to that comment. I'm going to start driving in a second, but I want to read a few more comments and then I want to go, and that's what I'll talk about. Lori said, I'm subscribed to her channels, but I don't always get notified. And Lael said, Lori, I think you just described how YouTube notifications work in general. Madison said San Diego is going to be in the mid-70s. It's not going to be as hot as I think it is. Okay, that's good enough. Somebody asked if Meyer's just in Indiana. Oh, Linda asked that. Tammy said, no, I was born and lived in Michigan until I was 30. They were everywhere, even 25 years ago when I was still there. I believe it's the Midwest. I think Ohio and Illinois and Kentucky probably have them as well, maybe even Pennsylvania. Besides the Great Lakes, it's about the only thing I missed since moving to North Carolina. I don't know where else they are, in all honesty. Jordan said, I fully relate to what you said about your struggles with being gay. I've been publicly out since I was 19 years old, but it's only now at 29 that I'm realizing how deep-rooted these issues still are for me 10 years later. It's one thing to be out, it's another thing entirely to learn how to love yourself. I agree. Like, that's such an honest, true statement. Thank you, Jordan, for that. I want to talk about the drinking thing in a second, but I'm going to start driving because I'm sure you guys are like, we're sick of you sitting in the parking lot. I'm kind of sick of sitting here too, to be in all honesty. You know, I think the thing is this, like, I do love myself, and I think it's important for us to love ourselves. There, you know, I think with the gay stuff, like, it goes back to people saying to me for years and years and years, you're not good enough, or you're less than, or, you know, all of this because of me being gay, right? And I think that might be in reference to the vlog when I was talking about, you know, that, like, okay, in high school, I was basically bullied out of having a high school experience, right? Like, I mean, I could have gone to those things, but they would have been miserable for me. It would have been miserable for me to go to prom, or miserable for me to go to school dances or football games. And not that that was anything that I was really that interested to go to anyway, because I just wasn't, right? But it would have been miserable for me, because I didn't want to deal with people being cruel to me. I had no desire. Like, it was enough during the day. Well, I put myself through that at night. So I hung out with my, you know, people. But when things come up today, I still feel the response of that inside. Like, there's still, I mean, at 47 years old, 30 years later, there's still bits and pieces of me that it takes me back to those feelings that I had back then, right? Where I just kind of want to, like, I remember, like, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I don't know if you remember specific incidents that happened in your life, but I'm somebody that remembers very specifically incidents that happened in my life. And I remember the first time that I was cognizant that I was different, and it was in first grade. And it was, I've told this story on here before, but I'm gonna tell it again for people that haven't watched, you know, or heard this story. But I was, you know, it was one of my favorite days. because it was like fall, it was like October, and it was like tomato soup day. And so tomato soup day meant that we would come into the lunchroom. Now I'm first grade, okay? I'm 7. So it's, you know, tomato soup day, which means we come in. I love tomato soup anyway. We sit down and we get a tomato soup with like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or peanut butter sandwich or whatever, right? And we all sit at the table. We're all sitting there and we don't go through the lunch line because the soup is too hot and all that kind of stuff. And I loved tomato soup day. I was a little kid that like loved looking forward to whatever the school lunch was going to be. Like that was something for me that I really liked. Like I was excited to, like I can remember my mom being like, okay, tomorrow we're having Johnny Marzetti, or, you know, tomorrow you're going to have pizza. And I would look forward to that. I was real excited about it, right? I remember her like keeping on the refrigerator the list that they would give out that would say like, you know, the days of the week, and it would show it. And I loved that. And I think the other thing is, I was always a real innocent kid. Like, even in high school, when I was like drinking and doing all that kind of stuff, like I was kind of innocent-minded. Like I really was. Like, I just wasn't, I just didn't, like I didn't date. I was not sexually active. I just was kind of innocent-minded in my head about stuff, you know, like, sure, my friends drank and we smoked cigarettes and did all that kind of stuff, but like in my head, I really wasn't, I don't know, I wasn't, you know, like when people would say like, oh, they're like 16 going on 30, I was like 16 going on 16, you know, even though I was participating in some of those behaviors, like I was still, I don't know, like, most of my friends, we were all like that, kind of. Like, we were all, I mean, maybe with the exception of 1 or 2 of my friends, I think we were all kind of like that, you know? And so, you know, here I am in first grade, and we're having tomato soup day, and I'm sitting at the table, and the kids are talking about, this one kid was talking about the homogeneous milk, and do you know what's interesting is, I like can see him in my head, but I can't remember who it was. And I've always kind of wondered, like, if I could go back and remember exactly who it was. Because I do remember that, like, one of my friends was at the table and said nothing. And I've kind of wondered if I could go back, like, and remember who it was. Like, would that change? Like, would I feel like I had more control over this situation or something? I mean, I have no vendettas against those people today, you know? But, so anyway, they were talking about the milk, and the milk would say like homogeneous on the side of it, right? And because it was like these little, you know, homogeneous milk cartons, and so this guy was like, don't drink the milk, don't drink the milk. And so I like put my milk down real quick, right? You know, I mean, when you're a kid, you believe everything friends are telling you. And so I like put my milk down, and they were all like, don't drink the milk, you know, it'll, you know, turn you gay or something like that. And I like put my milk down real quick, and I of course didn't know what that meant. Well, what does that mean, that the milk's gonna, I didn't know, you know. And so then the kid looked at me and he goes, you can drink it, you're already gay. And that was it. I mean, it literally, everything changed that day. The boys didn't talk to me anymore. I didn't play with the boys on the playground. I played with the girls. I had very few friends. I was made fun of in class. Teachers turned a blind eye. Teachers in elementary school turned a blind eye. I mean, it was hard. It was really, really hard. And I actually, in telling stories about it, I really minimize how hard it was, you know? So to this day, when I feel left out, or I feel isolated, or I feel like the joke's on me and I don't get it, or I feel like, you know, whatever, like I'm the joke or whatever, like it brings back a lot of that for me, you know? And it isn't just about me being gay. It's about the feelings associated with that. One of the things I am the most, if I had to say that I do have a resentment about, is I'm resentful at the fact that my coming out process was never mine. Because when I was bullied in high school, I was being bullied for being gay before I had even come to terms with me being gay yet. So by the time that I was ready to accept that about myself, they had already stolen that from me. And I know that doesn't make sense. I know it sounds kind of strange, but that's my process. That's my personal process that I went through. And I feel like I had a right to that personal process of me coming up with those feelings and those emotions on my own and things like that, you know? I just wonder if we're ever going to live in a world where it really just doesn't even matter, you know? I think the reason why it's important to love ourselves is because we're not going to treat ourselves well if we don't. We're not going to believe that we deserve good things. We're not going to believe, you know, that we deserve to have friends or a partner or, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know that I was actually just talking to a friend about this earlier about, I don't necessarily self-sabotage, but I sometimes don't believe that I can be successful at things. And so I don't even start them. But that's not about the bullying. That's about my own just feeling like I'm not smart enough or good enough at things when I was growing up, because I had that as well. And that doesn't really come from anywhere except for just me. But I also, like, you know, I'm not the story where... Well, I think that, like, my learning process was different than other people's, because, like, when I was growing up, like, I would, like, not so much in high school. I just didn't care in high school by then, because but, like, in junior high, like, I remember taking, like, God, I don't even remember what class it was. It was some math class, and I remember, like, having a tutor and trying really, really hard, and, like, really trying hard, and still getting, like, a C- and being like, what's the point? Like, why am I working so hard? I mean, I must really just be dumb. Like, I'm working so hard. Okay, if you watched Orange is the New Black, why can't I think of her name? Taryn Manning played her part. Taggart or whatever her part is. But anyway, she's taking the GED in there. I so related to that whole, like, storyline of just, like, what's the point? Like, I'm not going to be able to do well in this anyway, you know? And I really, really struggled with that until I had some successes. Until, you know, I got into late college after I got sober and started having successes. Until I got into graduate school and I started having successes. It's like, music just changed, and it changed to some weird song. I was like, what? I've never heard of this. Prayer and See. But anyway, so that was important for me, you know, was to have some academic successes. I think if we could teach students how to have academic successes, no matter how small they are, I think they would believe in themselves more, and kids that aren't doing real well in school might believe that they could do better because they had had a few successes. I never had many successes in school, so therefore I didn't believe in my academic pursuits, that I could do well. I just didn't believe it was possible, you know? I thought, this isn't gonna happen to me. But yeah, I'm kind of like just talking through this as I'm saying it, but then, like, I remember when I came out, like, this is what happened. So, you know, I went from high school, like, there was always a part of me that knew I was gay. I mean, not always, but, like, I would say maybe around 6th grade, I started really, like, kind of getting it. Like 6th, 7th grade, I would say. Like, where I'd have crushes, you know, on classmates and stuff like that, but I didn't really know that they were crushes. Like, I just wondered a lot about them, or I was fascinated by other guys in my grade and stuff like that, but I didn't really know how to put a word to it, and I think I was too scared of admitting what it really was. You know, it's really butterflies in your stomach that you get, like anybody gets. So if you've ever had butterflies in your stomach, you know, for somebody, it's the same feeling, you know? But it had been made out to me to be such this ugly thing that I think I was terrified of that. And so in high school, I just completely pushed it away. I was like, you know, it was here, but I wasn't willing to bring it here. Like, I was just, anytime that I ever even came close to that, I just was like, no. You know, like, I was terrified of that. And then towards the end of my high school, I just knew. I just knew, like, I can't, like, continue to live this lie. And then I was getting my hair cut by, my stepmom and I had the same hairstylist. This is the whole decision-making process. It did not go any deeper than this. I literally graduated from high school in June. My birthday is at the end of the month. I had started going out to some gay bars with my friend who had a fake ID, and she had a friend, and I would use his ID, and I would get into gay bars. At 17, not even 18 years old, I was going to this gay bar in Indianapolis and drag shows and stuff, and I decided, I was like, I'm coming out. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not gonna, I mean, this is who I am, this is what I am, and I wouldn't say it was a rash decision, but it was a decision. But I had ran into my hairstylist when I was out, and he had kind of joked with me or said something to me when I got my hair cut, and I remember thinking to myself, I don't care, who knows it, but I don't want my mom and my dad and my stepmom to hear it on the street. I want them to hear it from me. And so, I got my hair cut, and that was like just a couple days later, when I came out to my family. So I didn't really think it through. And then what happened was I came out, and then I came out. Like, I mean, I came out and I was going out all the time. Like, I was literally going out all the time. That summer, I hung out with a lot of friends, and like my one friend and I, the one that stayed back here, she and I would go out every once in a while, but like my other friends and I, we like hung out and did stuff that summer. But then when everybody else went to college that fall was when my drinking really escalated, and I was going out to gay bars, and I had also developed my own friends outside of her, like I had my own gay friends in the gay community and drag queens and things like that, and I was going out all the time. So I literally went from high school being bullied to going out all the time and being in my own element, and there was no process in between. It was like standing over here and then jumping in full. I mean, there was no in between of really thinking it through. Of like, how do I feel about this? And, am I scared? And, what does this mean for me? And what do I want from my life? And whatever, And one of the things I feel very, very blessed about is, to this day, is I don't know what happened, but I got really lucky and kind of finding a group of people within that first year that I was out that were very protective of me. And is this camera like covered by this thing? That were very protective of me and very kind to me. And I mean, we partied and did all kinds of stuff, but they wouldn't, let me go home with somebody they didn't know, or you know what I mean? Like, they just were like, they kept me safe. And kind of mentored me, on the gay community, and this is this, and I feel extremely blessed for that, I don't know what would have happened to me if that hadn't been the case, and I didn't have friends of mine watching out for me, and yeah, and I don't want people to think that, I didn't have fun in high school, it was all just bully, bully, bully. There's actually a very good friend of mine from high school that watches my vlog every night. She knows who she is. And we had a blast. I mean, when I think back on my friendship with her in high school, it was fun. It was, going to Schultz's and Schaefer's and going out to dinner and driving around and smoking clove cigarettes and listening to the Smiths and The Cure and dancing in the car to New Order. It was fun. I mean, we had a good time. We had personal jokes, inside jokes and stuff like that. We had a good time, I mean, it wasn't high school wasn't all bad, but I never processed from one moment to the, she actually was friends with the girl that I dated in high school, and I think back on that, on me putting on this, I don't know, this facade to myself even, I don't even really know what I was thinking. And that's what I guess I'm saying, is I went from that to then using substances really hardcore, being out, and then it getting so bad I got sober. And then I was so resistant when I got sober to saying it had anything to do with me being gay, because I was, damn it, they are not going to continue to control me. Because if I had said, yes, I'm drinking and using drugs because I don't like myself because I'm gay, then what I was ultimately, subliminally, I think, saying was they were right all along, and there is something wrong with it, and I wasn't giving those people that power anymore. And so I wouldn't admit to that. And then years later, and doing inventory and stuff, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I think I did have some issues with this. I think I had a lot of issues with it. You know what I mean? How could I not? So, yeah, I don't know. But I also don't want to belabor the point until I'm 65. You know what I mean? I don't want that to be my life. And that's why today, like, I have friends of mine that are still very, very bitter, towards, like, the people that mistreated us in high school. And I'm just like, you know, like, I understand, you know, like, maybe that wasn't the best time of your life, but, like, at some point, too, I think the process of forgiveness and moving through it is, like, it's growth for us, and I think that it's, I don't know, it's freeing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to continue to look at all of that same way. I just, you know, I think, like, I don't know, my high school experience could have been so much different if it was today. But I also think that for a lot of people, it's really still tough today, you know? I think in some areas it's probably not a whole lot easier. I mean, I often wonder that, you know, just because it's 2019, I'm sure that kids are still given a hard time for it. I'm sure it's still not easy, you know? A lot of that is probably still very, very true today. But like I was saying in that video that day, you know, bullying isn't limited to that. I mean, bullying happens all the time, you know? It happens for anything that is different about, oh, it's gonna stop, hold on. Anything that is different about somebody is a reason that people would like to bully them. Because, I don't know, different is scary to people, or, you know, whatever. It's like, I was looking through, it was funny because I was like, you know, I was talking about this reunion thing, and I was looking through these pictures that night. These people, you know, like had tagged this like album, and I was looking through these pictures of like all these people, their friend group, and it was all like the popular people, and, you know, like all the guys had on like t-shirts or polo shirts, and they had that like short, they had the larmoose, you know, like the short hair on top, and it was like kind of long in the back, and then all the girls had like the big State Fair hair claw in front with the curly hair, and then it was flat in the back, and they all had on like turtlenecks and like gray sweatshirts. I guess that was a thing back in the day. But, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, me and my friends, we didn't dress like that, you know? No wonder we stood out. We did not like dress like that at all, you know? We didn't look like that. And, you know, I'm just like looking at these pictures, and like a lot of the pictures were from like these high school parties that I never went to, you know, they're all sitting there and they're like holding beers, and it's like they all look the same and stuff. And at 47, my response to that is not, I wish I would have been part of that. My response is, to me, that was never me. I was never that person. I never would have fit into that. That wasn't who I was, gay, straight, or otherwise. That wasn't who I was. So I don't think that really even, I don't know, I don't think it has so much to do with that. But the football games and the dances, they do. They really do. I don't know. But I do definitely think I'm who I am because of, my friend that watches my videos, I'm gonna crack her up right now when she's watching this, because she knows she watches my vlog every day. I remember things so specifically. Let me just tell you something, okay? This is how my friends, like, affected my life. So, she actually, I think, went to France for an exchange student program. I think it was France that she went to. And I remember when she came home, okay, at the end of the summer, And I think it was her junior year going into senior year, which would have been, I had graduated, and because she was a year behind me, and so I was getting ready to go into college, and it was her and like another, like two of my other friends, and we went out on my dad's boat. And I even remember she had she wore like a white bikini, and she had come from Europe and brought me back the Black Box, the band, you know, Martha Wash, Right on Time, you know that song. She had brought me the Black Box cassette tape as a gift because I loved music and she knew that. And we rode around and listened to that. I still, to this day, I have that cassette tape in my basement, the one she gave me, in my basement, of course. But, you know, I remember, like, we just were, I can see her on the back of my dad's boat, and I'm like driving this, you know, speedboat around, and she's just sitting back there, and we just all were a little different, having our own kind of fun. And so I don't know, like, I look back on all that and I go, well, I think to myself, well, would I trade in all of those good times that I had for, you know, like, I don't think I would. By the way, she's probably like, no, that's not the timing on that. The timing is actually the year before or something, so. But, you know, it's interesting to me. I don't know. I don't think. Sitting here in the vlog and talking about it, I think a lot about it, but like in my day-to-day routine, I don't think about it. Like, and if I tomorrow ran into somebody that was a complete asshole to me in high school and they were like, Peter, Monn, I'd be like, hey, how are you? Like, I don't like have that in me today. You know what I mean? I just don't. It's not worth it to me. I'm kind of more interested in seeing how people have changed and if they're different, you know? Okay, I also want to talk about the other thing that somebody said about they don't like to go out and they're 25 and their friends don't like to go out and stuff like that. You know, so I think it's important to find a group of people that like to do stuff that you like to do. I was like trying to think if I want to use this as an example. Okay, so a couple years ago, Melissa and I were talking. This was when I had stopped going out, okay? And Melissa and I and a couple of other friends, we were literally out every weekend. Melissa doesn't drink. I mean, she might have a drink a year, but Melissa doesn't really drink. And she's not in recovery. It was a personal choice she made years ago. She's like, I drank in college, and then I don't feel like the need to do it anymore, you know? She's out with the girls or something. They're all doing shots for somebody's birthday. She might do like a birthday shot, but that'll be it. Like, then, you know, but she doesn't usually ever drink. She always just usually drinks like Coke when we're out. So anyway, I remember talking to her on the phone, and this was like 6 months of me like having not been going out and going to meetings, and Alex and I had our date night and this and whatever. And she said, you know, like, I miss you going out because I don't really have anybody else. It's like, you know, sit there sober. And she's like, I just don't love going out like I used to love going out. And I said, then why do you keep on doing it? And she's like, well, I don't want to just sit at home, you know, on the weekends when everybody's going out and doing things. And I said, gal, why don't you find something that you love to do and like find some people? And at the time, she had just gotten involved in this dog rescue. I've talked a lot about Melissa and her dog rescue. She had just gotten involved in this. This isn't a dog rescue she used to be part of. She's part of a different one now. Like she's done 3 different groups. You can kind of like serve so many positions and then you like move on or whatever. So she's like on this other one now. But so at the time, like she was just kind of doing some things. She was doing transport, if you know what she was transporting dogs. It's like this thing that you do in rescues. But she didn't really know these women. She really hadn't hung out with them and stuff. And they were like asking her to go do something. And it was like a Saturday night. And like like Alex and Jason were going to hear some like whatever, and I was going to a meeting, and then we would go out to Steak and Shake afterwards. Real exciting, isn't it? Hold on a second. And she was like, I just don't really have anything to do tonight and whatever. And I said, well, I mean, you're more than welcome to come to Steak and Shake with me after my meeting. I said, but I don't know how much fun that's going to be with you, you know, like, because, you know, you don't know all these sober people. And she's like, I know, and I just don't know what to do, and I don't feel like going out, and Alex and Jason are going out, and, you know, whatever. I said, and she said, these girls from the rescue all asked me, they're like all gonna go out to dinner, but I don't really know them. And I said, Melissa, I said, this is a really good way for you to make some new friends that really enjoy what you enjoy doing. And she was like, I know, blah, 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 whatever. I was like, you don't have to give up the people that go out. You can still go out whenever you want to go out. You know what I mean? You can still, like, I mean, keep those friends and go out and do whatever. But make some new friends too. This is a great opportunity to make some new friends. And I try to be really open to that, you know, like, I don't want 100 friends, but if there's an opportunity where, like the pageant that I did, or books, or whatever, like, it's a good opportunity for me to meet some new people that have like interests to me. And I think there's a lot to be said for being friends with people that have really like interests with you, okay? I think there's tons to be said about that, which is why for me, like, even though we don't all have everything in common, we speak the common language of recovery, is really important for me to have friends of mine that are sober, because I keep on smelling something weird. I'm like, what is that smell? And it's the Old Spice thing in here. You know, there's just that commonality. I think it's fun. I think it's, you know, it's important to, you know, Kelly Cutrone talked about it in her book, you know, that, her book called, If You Have to Cry, Go Outside. She talks about the importance of having like-minded people around you. Not that agree with you always on things, but that enjoy the same things, that have the same interests in you, right? So Melissa goes out to this dinner, and she came home, and I was like, well, how was it? And she's like, you know, I had a really good time. Like, I didn't really know them, and it was really fun, and to hear about, you know, their stuff and their lives, and, you know, they find out about mine and whatever. Well, slowly over time, Melissa has really become friends with these women. Like, she's really close with them, right? Especially like 2 of them. And they're like really good friends of hers. And I take full responsibility for that. No, I don't take any responsibility for that. But I think, like, you know, I think it's important for us to have that, you know? I had to make a decision. Do I want to be standing in a bar for the next 10 years of my life and feel like I gave away 10 years of my life and be resentful about that? And who am I ultimately resentful at then? Myself, right? Or do I want to go and do some different things? And I realize I want to do some different things. Even if that's me just sitting at home on a Saturday night watching a movie and my husband goes out with some friends, that's fine. But at least I feel like I watched a movie or did a live stream or talked to Tanya Jean or read a book or did something other than just being out at a bar. You know what I mean? Like, I don't enjoy that. Like, and if I go, and this is the thing that is different about it too, is that today when I do go, I do enjoy it because I don't go all the time and I'm not resentful at it. So when I go, I'm there because I want to be there. If you're not enjoying going out because all of your friends are like, that's what they enjoy doing, and that's fine. They don't have to not be your friends. Although if you stop doing what other people are doing, you may lose some friends over it, because what you'll realize is what we had in common was that, you know, or they're changing or I'm changing. But I do think it's good to find people that have similar interests as us, you know? I think we have to. And it makes life more exciting, you know? Like, when I talk to Mel and we talk about books, like, Mel and I are very different in a lot of ways. This is my book club co-partner, Mel, that's become like one of my dearest friends. Mel and I are very different in many, many ways, but we're very similar in a lot of ways too, right? We don't always agree on books. You know, one of the best books that I've ever read was The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. Now, Mel just read this book, and she didn't like it at all and thought it was weird, and she's obviously wrong in her review, because look at it going out of focus when I'm being sarcastic. I'm being sarcastic. But Mel is obviously wrong in her review, because it was a fantastic book. Now, I mean, we were talking about it the other day. I said, girl, what did you not like about it? And she was like, well, this and this. And I go, yeah, I mean, I guess I can totally see what you're saying there, but I still, like, I liked it differently, you know, and whatever. And we had a good discussion over it. It's fun. Like, I enjoy talking to her about books. And then we talk about, then our conversation from books will go to this, we'll go to that. And then we talk about, our husbands or whatever. And it's fun, because we have that commonality, that thread of that's something that we enjoy talking about together. We don't just talk about books. Hell, we've talked about our families and, our husbands and our dogs and just life in general. And we've talked about everything. You know what I mean? And that's what a friendship is. But I think it starts with a common interest. And the other thing is this, is that your friendships are going to change over time, I have been blessed to have a best friend for 23 years. I always say 22, 23, but I think it's been 23 years now. But our friendship has changed a lot in 23 years. It does not look like it did 23 years ago. Now, with Tanya and I, our friendship is better now. It's closer. It's, we share things with each other now that we would never have shared with each other 23 years ago. But I've had other friends that have, friendships that have kind of come and gone through time. I've had friendships of mine where I haven't really talked or seen the person in years. And then all of a sudden we're talking every day. I've had other friendships of mine that, we talk every day and then a month goes by and I don't hear from them. And I'm not really that kind of person that's like, oh, you don't ever call me anymore. You don't care about me, whatever. I'm just like, well, they must be busy. We'll like catch up and, get back together when, things happen. So I don't know, but I do think it's important to be surrounded by people that have like an interest in us. So, that's not where you want to be. You don't want to be out at a bar every night. I don't blame you. I don't want to be in a bar every night either, or be out at a bar on the weekends with my friends. But there's a lot of people that do want to do that, And I don't judge them for that. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what they want to do. When I was 25, I wanted to be out there doing that. You know what I mean? But today I don't. And, I don't know. Even at 25, I wasn't doing that because I was sober. And I was in a relationship. But when I was 20, I was wanting to be in the bars. I was, wanting to dance and be cute and all that kind of stuff. But you got to do what makes you happy. You only got one, whirl around this earth, this world. You know what I mean? Make the most of it. I think when you are connected to people, I should speak for myself. I think when I am connected to people, I am so dying for a Diet Coke, and I don't know if I have any change. I'm going to go through here and get a Diet Coke. I have all these drinks, and they're just kind of like, I want a Diet Coke. I was going to try not to have one tonight, but I don't really care. I think when I'm connected to people that have like interests, I think my passion really comes out more of who I am as a person. You know what I mean? But I don't think that means that you have to have people that like you're always so alike, right? Like, I think like in any romantic relationship, like I think it's important to share some certain passions, but then I think like I wouldn't want to be with somebody that I'm like identical with.
Thanks for McDonald's for breakfast only. How can I help you?
Can I get a large Diet Coke, please?
Large Diet Coke, will that be all for you?
That's it.
Alright, 109. Come to the person.
Alex always says that we're very, very similar, which I think is more true than I used to think it was. I think we're very similar in the ways that we look at the world and the ways that we think. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Your hair is so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
But Alex is always like, we look at the world the same way, we think the same way about the world, blah, 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 and that's very, very true. And then we have a lot of interests that are similar, but we have a lot of interests that are different too, Like he could care less to read. And I think it's important to have, how are you? Good. Thank you so much. I think it's important, you know, like, to have things that are similar, whether it's just TV shows, movies, things like that you love to talk about. And then I think, you know, like travel and stuff like that. But I think, you know, to have everything be alike, I don't know how I would feel about that. I've never really been with somebody that's been the situation. All of my boyfriends and now my husband, we've had several things that we're very, very like-minded on. I've never been with somebody that's a reader. Is that not funny? Like, Alex read when we first got together, but he didn't. He read like Chelsea Handler and like Tucker Max and stuff like that. I'm gonna go down here and go this way. My other two boyfriends never read, never picked up a book, couldn't stand it. Neither of them were in recovery. Well, my two exes, we didn't really have a whole lot in common, but it worked, you know. And I almost kind of think, I don't know, I'm thinking of couples that I know that have a lot in common too, and I don't know, for me it doesn't work. I get bored, you know. Like, something turned on the camera. I was like, what is that? I was like, is that the battery? This battery is gonna die too? But it wasn't the battery. But if I don't have anybody to talk to, this is where, I'm gonna go down here. This is where I think it does become kind of lonely, is when I don't have anybody to talk to about things, you know, like, I don't have a partner to talk about my interests with. I don't have my friend, you know, Mel. I don't have Tanya. I don't have Valerie. I don't have Melissa. I don't have anybody to talk to about the things that I'm interested in, right? You know, I don't have my sponsor. Like, who then do I have to talk to about things? Then it's just me, you know, sitting around, not really having anybody to talk to about these things. And then I think that that's what's hard. And then I think, well, all these people have all these, you know, things that they're interested in, and I'm not. You know, like, it's like this. I think, like, it's probably no surprise to people that, like, I love going to music festivals, but I definitely don't love them as much as Alex does. You know, if he loves them out of 10, which he loves them out of 10, I probably love them at a 6, 7, depending on the music festival. Ultra, I love it at like a 9. The rest of them, I can give them or take. This weekend is some music festival in San Diego, and when they originally got tickets for it, Alex was like, do you want to go? And I was like, well, what is it? And so he was telling me, and I was like, I don't really know that I do want to go to that, in all honesty. I think I'd rather just kind of like, you know, get room service one night, walk around San Diego, blah, 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 blah. I do have a friend that I'm supposed to meet up with out there, and he was like, okay. He was like, do you want me to get you a ticket? I was like, no. And then it's now sold out. And he was like, but you could probably buy a day ticket. So I might buy a day ticket. I'm just like, here's where I'm at with it now is, like, I will, when I get there, I'll see how I feel. And if I feel like going, I'll go. And if I don't feel like going, then I won't go. And that's kind of where I'm at in my life today. I don't really participate in things I don't want to participate in. It's my life too, and I get to enjoy it the way that I want to enjoy it, right? But he was like, well, on Saturday night after that, we're going to go out. And I go, well, I'll meet you out after that, probably. You know, like, if you guys are going to go out somewhere. He goes, okay. So that's probably what I'll do. And then, yeah. This is like a local, like, smaller one. But if I was to go, like, to BookCon or something like that, like, he would have absolutely no interest in that whatsoever, you know? He wouldn't even know the people there, probably. When the people that don't like me come out and they go, oh, he's justifying his marriage for a half an hour. I don't have to justify my marriage. We've been together for over 11 years. We've been married for over 8 years. When you're together with somebody like that, you realize that you don't have to have the most similar interests in the entire world. I think it's important for people to know that, you know, that you can have differences in a marriage and not, and for it to still work, you know, for it to be a good marriage and just not be like the most similar, you know, in the entire world. I don't know, I get questions about that a lot from friends of mine. They're like, well, you and Alex seem to be so different. Like, how does it work? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't really, like, on a day-to-day basis, I don't really think about the differences, I guess, you know, like, I love my husband and he loves me and we're supportive of each other and we plan trips together. And I think that one of the things that is really, really important, as different as your interests are, is that I think you have to have similar goals for the future. Like Alex and I, our goals for the future are very, very similar. I can't say that they were always that way. You know, when we first got together, he was really wanted to move to Florida. And I was like, I don't really want to move to Florida. And that was kind of like a point of contention when we first got together. Now I'm the one that's ready to move to Florida. And, you know, I'm like, I'm ready to go and get a place whenever you want to go. But I want to go back and forth between Indiana and Florida. And he's the one that's like, I don't know that I'm necessarily like, you know, like I would go tomorrow, but we're not really in a position to do that the way that we want to. I did not realize I was at the end of 23 minutes. You know, but that's changed over time. But that's also changed because, like, you know, having gone to Florida so much, I think I got more comfortable with it. I was actually talking about this in this video on Peterisms today that I started filming, and then it was about being a creature of comfort and change and stuff, and then I just didn't even end up getting it filmed because I got like halfway through and then I had to leave and I was going to come back and I didn't finish it, so maybe I'll read the meditation tomorrow. But I think that's what really started happening for me, was that we went to Florida enough that I started feeling like kind of like Florida's home a little bit, and it felt comfortable and I felt safe there. And then I was like, okay, I'm ready to be here, like I could do this. But, you know, like, I would love if we could just, like, go down there for a month and then come back right now. But, you know, because of stuff that he has going on with his work and stuff like that, he can't necessarily do that. So, one of these days, you know, we'll be able to do that. But I think it's important for us to have, you know, similar outlooks on what our life is going to look like down the road, where we want to be, things like that, you know. Like, you know, people always ask us, like, well, did you guys want to ever adopt? No, we both have very similar, you know, ideas about that. Or, do you want this or do you want that? Like, do you want to live in a big house? No, neither one of us want any kind of big house. You know what I mean? Like, we both have very similar ideas of what it looks like. And I think that's important because I think, you know, like, if you think about it as like a road trip, so to speak, if one of you is wanting to go to New York and the other one is going to, wants to go to California or LA, how do you make that trip work? You know what I mean? But if both of you want to go to LA, at least you're on the same direction. And I think that that's kind of, at least, you know, like Alex and I have a vision for what we want the next 10, 20 years of our lives to look like that's identical to each other. Like, it's very similar, you know? And so I think that it's important to have similar, somewhere close on the same page, long-term plans. And, you know, interestingly enough, that's something that my exes and I, we didn't have. And with my first ex, that was kind of what was like ended the relationship a little bit, was that he all of a sudden, like, what he wanted in life changed. And I didn't want to stand in the way of that. You know, he was like wanting to go to circuit parties and, you know, go do this and go here and go there. And I just didn't want that. I wanted to be, you know, stay at home Mr. Homebody at that point. And I'm still that to some degree, you know. And I wasn't going to stand in the way of what he wanted. So, plus I think both of us knew that we wanted out of the relationship at that point. I think it's hard. I said Aldi in a video the other day. Here's one right here. And somebody corrected me and said it's Aldi. I have never in my life heard anybody pronounce Aldi, Aldi. Is it Aldi? I've not once heard anybody ever pronounce it that way. I was like, is it Aldi? I didn't know that. If it is, I didn't know that. That one looks new too, though. I think relationships are hard. I think like in talking about relationships, because I think that I was actually talking to somebody today, some friends of mine. They're like, what's the thing that's been the most helpful to you and Alex? And I said, are you kidding me? The 12 forms of intimacy, hands down. Hands down, the 12 forms of intimacy. We started communicating differently. You know, if you've watched my blog for a long time, you know that we started, you know, going to therapy two and a half years ago. And still in the process of finding our next therapist, but haven't really felt like this huge need to do it lately. You know, things have been really great since. I think we were like wanting to keep it up going because things were so good, and then things have been continued to be good since we stopped seeing our therapist that retired. But I still would like to have somebody to, you know, we both agreed to that. Alex said the same thing. We'd like to have somebody to maybe go into every, you know, other week, every third week, something like that, just kind of process stuff. But I think it's good. It's like going to a coach for, you know, sports or anything like that. But that counseling and therapy saved our life. It saved our marriage. We would not be together right now if it wasn't for that. I know that. And that 12 forms of intimacy, when we started looking at it, and we started looking at what areas we're not connected to, you know, because I think this is what I was saying to my friend today, you know, is that when I say like, you know, how intimate are you with, you know, your husband or your wife, your boyfriend or your girlfriend, I think we immediately go to sex, right? Well, that's just one. Physical intimacy is just one form of intimacy. You know, there's recreational intimacy, emotional intimacy, intellectual intimacy, financial intimacy, you know, spiritual intimacy, family intimacy. There's like all kinds of intimacy, right? And so the more connected you are in all these different forms of intimacy is really how bonded you are to your partner and your relationship. And not that it's not important, but physical intimacy is only one part of that. It's extremely important, I think, to be physically intimate with your partner. But I think that's only one part of that, you know? And physical intimacy doesn't always have to be, you know, intercourse. It can be holding hands. It can be cuddling. It can be walking, holding hands together outside. It can be, there's so many different ways, you know, kissing, hello, and good morning, you know, good night, and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's actually like one thing like that has been so vital to our relationship is our continuing to like, I know this sounds cheesy, but like make out, like that's always been something that we make out, like, you know, like, and we're always like, I love you too, you know, and we kiss every morning and every night, you know, and like, I think all of that framework is important for our marriage. But I think the one thing too is that don't ever compare your marriage to somebody else's, or, you know, like sit there and say, well, this is what I believe a marriage should be, and since their marriage doesn't, you know, I don't know what works for somebody else. I really, really don't. I've had some friends of mine that have some weird boundaries around their, what I consider, okay? Because it would never, and I say weird because it would never work in my marriage for who I am or for who my husband is, right? But for them, it totally works, and, you know, more power to them. It works for their marriage. And you know what? I don't have to be in that. I don't have to, like, that's not my marriage, and I'm happy for my friends that they're happy, and you know what I mean? So I think, like, it's what works for each person. You know, back in the day, when I would do videos, like when Alex would be in the vlogs back in the day, you know, people would like comment and be like, oh, Alex side-eyed Peter, like he's not in love with him anymore and stuff like that. And what's interesting to me about that is, I'm sure my husband side-eyes me a lot. I'm sure I irritate him. I'm sure I annoy him. You know, but I'm sure there are things that he doesn't like about me. I'm sure there are things that aren't as attractive about me to him as they were when we first got married or first met. But I think that changes on the daily, and I think that the same is true probably of me with him, and that goes up and down in marriages. I think that's true of everybody, you know? There are things about my husband that annoy me, and he knows what they are, some of them. You know what I mean? It's like, I think all of that's true with marriage. But what I realized over time was that somebody saying that is what they're really saying is, I don't want this person to be happy. Like, I don't want this person to be in a happy marriage, therefore I'm going to pick it apart. I don't really care, because I know what I go to bed to at the end of the day, every day, you know? And some days our marriage is a 4, some days our marriage is a 2, and some days our marriage is a 10. And quite frankly, in case nobody's ever told you this before, that's just marriage. I don't ever try to act like it's something that it isn't. When I got on YouTube, at that point, I got on YouTube. I've talked about this in Q&As, but I don't know if I've ever talked about it on here. But the point that I got on YouTube, I was watching a lot of these like gay couples doing videos. RJ and Will from Sept 689. I couldn't remember the channel name the other night, but I actually looked it up to see if the channel's still up because they haven't posted videos because they're not together anymore. And the reality is very few of these couples that I used to watch on YouTube are still together anymore. They don't even exist, gay couples. And I would watch them and they'd always be like, oh my God, hi, how are you? We love each other so much. And this is us. And oh, we're holding hands on the beach. And this is so romantic. And oh my God. We all want moments like that, don't we? We all want those movie moments and those fairy tale moments. And I believe in the fairy tale moment. I do. I believe in the fairy tale. I believe in the movie moments. I believe that we can all have those. But they're not going to happen 100% of the time. They're just not. And so when I got on YouTube, it was very important for me that I showed what a relationship looks like in reality. I wasn't going to ever bullshit it. And the reason why was because I had been misled to watch those YouTubers and believe that that was what a happy, real relationship looked like. When in reality, that wasn't the case. How do I know that? 80% of them aren't even together anymore. I wanted people that watched my videos to know marriage ain't perfect, period, okay? You're gonna fight over stupid things and you're gonna fight over some very, very real things. Feelings are gonna be hurt, feelings are gonna be mended. You know? Marriage is work. And marriage is worth it. So, I think, you know, for me, it's important to represent what that looks like on camera. So, I show all of it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get the comments as much anymore, but I used to, where it would be like, it's actually been quite some time since I've gotten a comment like this, where people are like, you know, like, oh, Peter and Alex live separate lives. And what's interesting about that is that I always, like, whenever I get a comment like that on a video, I'll get a follow-up email, like, a day later, and somebody will say to me, like, me and my husband lives very separate lives, too. Like, do you think that that means that, you know, whatever? And I'm like, I don't think it means anything. And my husband and I don't live very separate lives. Like, I just don't show him a lot on vlogs anymore. But there are times that we are very separate, you know, that he does his own thing and I do mine. That's completely fine. At the end of the day, we come home together, you know. But it hasn't, you know, always been easy, like I said. Like no marriage is easy, I don't think. I don't know that I've ever talked to one couple and said, like, do you have an easy marriage? And they say, oh yeah, our marriage is completely easy. Actually, you know what's interesting about this is, I remember watching Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher in an interview, and I think it was like a Diane Sawyer interview, and she said something to them about, do they fight? And they said, we don't ever fight, we've never had an argument. I remember watching this, like, with my mother, and we were sitting there watching it, and I don't know who the interviewer was, but I think it was Diane Sawyer, and maybe Oprah, but I don't think so. And they were like, we've never had an argument. And whoever was interviewing was like, you've never had an argument? And they're like, no, we've never had an argument. We don't believe that couples argue. And I have always said from my very first relationship, couples argue. They just do, okay? You are not that in love with somebody, that passionate about somebody, and you're not gonna argue. That's just period, end of story, okay? And if you spend that much time together, you're gonna argue. It's like, do you remember when you were a little kid and you would hang out with your friend all the time, and then, like, your mom would say, like, I think you guys need a break from each other, you spent too much time, because you'd be, like, fighting over a toy, right? it's kind of like that, I think, sometimes with husbands and wives. It's kind of like sometimes like we need a break from each other. You know what I mean? Listen, all of my friends and I, whenever we're like together, will be like, somebody will say, I needed a break from my husband, you know? I'm sure my husband says that about me too. I need a break from my husband. And he probably does, you know? But I remember watching that and thinking to myself, what a bunch of crap. They don't ever fight. And I remember looking at my mom and saying to her, this marriage isn't gonna last. This marriage didn't last, or relationship, or whatever it was. I don't remember if they were married or not. Did you just see that she just sold some exclusive interview for $5 million to some magazine? I saw it at Meyer when I was in there the other night. But anyway, it said something about why she posed nude in Playboy at 56 or something. I don't know. And that she overdosed while partying with her daughter. It's like all this like huge tell-all. But anyway, couples fight, couples argue. The difference, I think, is if you ask yourself, are we a couple that has normal fights? Or are we a couple that when we fight, we stop having the fight and the fight has us? And that was what was happening with Alex and I. And I want to make sure that you understand this, because I think that this is important if you're in this situation. And one of the things I always say is, if you're in a good relationship, if you're in a poor relationship, if you're in a horrible relationship, if you're in the best relationship in the entire world, think about counseling. It might just be helpful to have a different perspective no matter what degree of perfection your relationship is or turmoil, okay? Because there were things that were pointed out to us that I would never have even seen if there weren't a third party saying, well, maybe you need to take a look at it this way. And I'm like, wow, we never looked at it that way, right? But you know, one of the things that would happen to us is that we would have an argument, right? Like, and I'm just going to make this up, but like the argument might be over like taking the trash out. And then what would happen is we'd be talking about, you know, like, well, you were supposed to take the trash out. Well, I was too busy. You know I'm too busy. Can't you do something every once in a while? Well, why do I always have to do everything? Well, why do you always have to do everything? You think you do everything? You're saying I don't do everything? Well, what are you saying? That I don't, like, carry my weight? Well, yeah, I'm saying that you carry your weight, but maybe you could help me a little bit more. I do so much more than you do around that. I'm just making this up as I go. Can you see that? And then all of a sudden, we're fighting, you know, it's an hour later, and we're literally, like, screaming at each other about the fact that, you know, I don't make him feel important, and he doesn't validate me. And this started off with the trash can, okay? Well, at what point did we stop having the fight and the fight started having us? Okay, and what I mean by that is we have forgotten a long time ago what this fight was even about. This fight is about so many underlying issues and feelings and emotions that have absolutely nothing to do with a trash can, right? We stopped having the fight and the fight was having us. We don't do that anymore. Period. We don't. We don't even fight anymore. Now I sound like Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher. We argue. We have differences, you know. We'll piss each other off. But we'll come back around, you know, an hour later and be like, you know what? You really pissed me off. I did. What did I say that pissed you off? Well, you said this. Well, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way. I'm sorry, but I still feel this way. Okay, well, let's sit down and talk about it. But we don't fight like we used to fight. We just don't, you know? We talk today, you know, about things. And we don't always agree, and that's okay, you know? But we end up laughing is usually what happens 90% of the time, which is good, you know, for, I think, anybody. In that situation, I don't know. Don't ever compare your marriage to somebody else's. Just don't do it. It's not healthy. And everybody has their own, you know, things in their own marriage that makes their marriage good and not, you know. I love my husband and I feel extremely blessed to have him in my life. He is an amazing man, and I'm very proud to call him my husband. And he is not perfect by any means, and neither am I. And I think we both know that. That went forever, didn't it? I haven't actually talked about all of that on here in a while. It did hurt my feelings though back in the day when people would comment and they would say things like, you know, like, oh, when Alex is in the car, he like side-eyes Peter. And then I would read the comment and I would say to Alex, I'd be like, do you side-eye me? And he'd be like, what? And I'd be like, did you side-eye me in the video? Somebody said in the comment. And he would like go read the comment. He was like, I don't even know what they're talking about. And I'd be like, we don't even go there anymore. You know what I mean? It's just like, whatever. He's like, if you're going to take every little bit seriously, I actually said to him yesterday, because he said to me, he goes, if you're going to take every bit seriously, come on. It's always right on this road, too, that it goes out of focus. You think that's because there's, like, aliens right here or something? I think it is. But he said, if you're going to take every little bit seriously, that people want to pick apart about us when we have, like, one of the strongest, longest marriages ever, like, of any gay couple that we know, he was like, you know, first of all, people should be looking up to that instead of picking it apart, which I think is so true. Like, he would say that to me. He'd be like, why are people not looking up to the fact that we, like, have a marriage of longevity? Why are they picking it apart? When obviously, you know, it's a good thing if we're still together. But if you're going to pick apart, if you're going to let them picking apart every little thing that they say, then I'm just not going to be in the vlogs anymore. So it was funny because when he was in the pumpkin patch, I said, you haven't been in my vlog for a long time. He was like, no, I haven't. He was like, because you haven't asked me to be in a vlog for a long time. So I'd love for him to be in more vlogs, you know? I'm kind of over that now. I don't really care if people think that my marriage is, you know, horrible and my husband side-eyes me and he's not in love with me. I'm like, well, believe what you want to believe. That kind of shit doesn't get to me anymore. I think if you're going to be on YouTube, I think you have to kind of go through reading comments about yourself to a point where you realize that there are certain comments that don't really have any effect on you anymore. You know what I mean? That they don't really bother you anymore. And then the back to that is, like, if you talk about it, then the people that made the comment are like, well, it obviously does still bother him because he's talking about it. Well, no, that's not necessarily the case, you know, in processing it. I have no problem admitting that there was a time that it did bother me, you know? That I would, with any comments about my voice, about, you know, I was like, what was I was reading some comment the other day and somebody said something about, I came to this video expecting this and when I heard your voice, it was such a turn off and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. I just was like, whatever, you know, like, okay, what do you want me to do about it? I'm going to go get voice training so that you're not annoyed by my voice. I don't even dislike my voice anymore. In fact, I think what happened was that and this kind of goes for the comments about my marriage or my weight or any of it, you know? It's like, with my voice, it's like all of the comments that I got where people like ripped me apart from my voice made me really look at my voice and realize that I can't change it even if I wanted to. I mean, I could if I went through like extensive voice lessons, but I'm not going to do that. And so it made me even fall in love with my voice more because I realized it's just a part of who I am and I can't change that, you know? And now when people come to my videos and they're like, I'm surprised, I don't know, it's kind of crazy to me that I still get that comment because I'm just not used to getting it. I don't get it as often, you know? And then, you know, like with people making comments about my weight and stuff like that, I'm like, that is such a low dig to make at somebody anyway, you know, to come for somebody for their weight or whatever. Like, I don't, like, that says absolutely really nothing to me about me. I already know that I'm heavy, right? I already know that I can't stick to a diet or Optavia or working out or whatever to save my life. I already know that, okay? So you're not telling me something I don't know. What you're saying to me is that you're a pretty ugly person, that you would point that out in somebody else. That's what you're saying by that. And I don't really spend a lot of time, you know, running space in other people's misery. I don't care to do that. The other thing is about, like, with the comments about my husband, like, that did used to bother me back in the day, you know? But that was also at a point when our marriage wasn't great. And so when he was in the videos and people would say that and we weren't getting along, and then I'd be like, and I think today, you know, we're in a good space, and so the comments don't really bother me. But he's not in my vlogs as much, so people don't say it. My husband's the king of the side-eye. I don't know why I ever let that bother me to begin with. He's forever side-eyeing me. He will when we're 75, and what will I be then? 87, holy shit. But, you know, like, that's the truth. I think those comments bothered me because I knew inside we aren't in the greatest place right now, you know? But today is a different day, so. We just did a Q&A when we were in Las Vegas together. I'm wondering if maybe we should do another. It stopped again. I said I was going to do a short vlog. You guys can believe this is, what did I say I was going to call this? A really short vlog? Is that what I'm going to call it tonight? I was thinking about doing another Q&A with Alex when we're in San Diego, because I like to do them when we're on vacation. But we just did one in Las Vegas. But I was thinking about doing one just about being with a person in recovery, because I think we said something about doing that on that video. I need to watch that video back and see if we talked about that on there, but I think we did. Would you guys be interested in us doing like a Q&A or just talking about what it's like for a sober person to be with somebody that's not, and what's it like for a person that's not in recovery to be with somebody that is in recovery? Actually, I think when he said that on the video, he said it or I did, but a lot of people were like, that would be be an interesting video. He said something like that's for another video, and I said, well, we could do that. A couple people were like, yeah, that would be interesting. So if you think that would be interesting, let me know in the comment section below. I want to do it like in a Q&A form, because I don't know that I consciously think today of what other people would want to know, like, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know that I would think about like other questions that people would have that are like with somebody like year 1 or year 2. Like, I don't know that I would think that way, you know? So I want to maybe see what questions people have that I think, so I could be more specific in the answers to help people out. Do you ever read street names? I read street names, and I, for some reason, like, can remember them like nobody's business. And I'll say to like Tanya, oh, you mean over on such and such street? And she'll go, what? And she'll say, how do you, I'll be like, yeah, with such and such street. And she'll go, how do you know the name of that street? And I'll be like, well, I don't know, it's right by such and such place, you know? And she'll be like, yeah, but how do you know the name of that street? And I'll be like, well, I don't know, it just is. I love to read street names. Oh. I think names of things are interesting, whether they're characters in books, or I always love to hear what people name their kids. I don't know why that's interesting to me. It started with like why my mom picked my name for me, you know, like, because there were several reasons why she picked Peter, but it's always interesting to me to hear why people pick certain names for kids, or, you know, like street names, or why you name your car, if you name your car or something, you know. I suddenly just got so peaceful. Maybe it means I'm tired. I think I'm going to get off here now. I have no idea how long this vlog is. It's gone a lot longer than I thought it would. So I'm going to go up here and turn around. But I'm going to sign off here now. So I hope you guys are having a... What is tomorrow? Tuesday? I hope you're having an amazing Tuesday. Unless you have other plans. But like I always say, do not have other plans. Make the most of your Tuesday. Do something really fun today. Something really enjoyable. Make sure that you leave a comment or a question in the, make sure you leave a question in the comment section below, and I will do a little Q&A on here on Wednesday. I'll film that, so that will be Thursday's vlog. And, yeah, I hope you guys are having an amazing Tuesday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, don't have other plans. Make the most of your day. Life is not a dress rehearsal. You're exchanging a day of your life for it. So do something fun and exciting today. Do something that you're passionate about. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you tell yourself how much you love yourself, and say, I love you. You are valuable. You are important. And most importantly, make sure that you pass it on to somebody else and let them know how important they are to you. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.